You seriously think you can volunteer me for an Ask Ben video? Well, sure shooting you can! Dixon Garen asks, do you own any hats? Towards the end of high school and the first part of college, I used to wear these flat brim hats and kind of looked like a total bro. The ironic thing is that me and my friends all wore these hats and we were very aware of how douchey it looked. We even came up with a character called Vince Diesel to describe people who wore them too low on their eyebrows. Sup? Wish I hadn't done that. Highly Awesome Madams asks, Ben, can you play an instrument? As it just so happens, I'm actually quite the Beethoven of the wooden frog. Now, of course, this is my acoustic frog, and I have my electric frog upstairs, but I didn't want to show off. EJM Wise asks, Ben, who's your favorite actor? Good question, but really no way to make this one funny. My favorite actor has got to be Tom Hanks. Wilson! Name that movie! Anisha1405 asks, Ben, do you collect anything? And if so, what? Funny, because if you asked me, I probably wouldn't even know that this is something that I collect, but I tend to buy a lot of clocks. I don't know if you guys have picked up on this or not, but of course I have my clock right here, and this is an hourglass, and then this is a watch, and then also I've got this guy, which is only like a quarter clock, and I have a really cool ball bearing clock. How cool was that? All Singers Me asks, Ben, have you ever had the house, apartment, residence to yourself for the entire day? What did you do? Nothing. Rachel's Imaginarium asks, Ben, how did you get into the aquarium business? I think I've told this story before, but I'm not sure, and it's been a while for sure, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell it again. When I was in middle school or so, my dad and I's father-son hobby was keeping aquariums, and then when I turned 16, my first job was working at a local pet store. I got pretty into it and started setting some pretty high record sale numbers for people in the fish department. And then my senior year of high school, a local aquarium-specific shop became available for sale. My dad and I got it, and I started running it and ran it all through college. During that time, I went to lots of trade shows and met some incredible people and found out that I could actually turn an aquarium business into a completely viable business. Blogger Will asks, Ben, what was your first concert? Jonathan answered this question once before and it's actually the same answer for me. My first concert was actually a Weird Al Yankovic concert and it was amazing. Since I was like one of 30 people in the audience at that one, I usually tell people that my first concert was Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, Skillet, and Seether. Valkyrie Maiden 95 asks, Ben, if you went to Hogwarts, which house would you be in? Socially, I have a feeling I'd probably have a different answer, although purely based on the description of the houses, I would say that I'm probably a Slytherin, considering people have told me that I'm ambitious to a fault. McBinnigan asks, why do y'all say see ya in another life, brother, at the end of the videos? Well, first, I don't say that. Second, it comes from the show Lost, which if you haven't seen, I would totally recommend. If you've ever got 100 hours of free time. Emerald Mirror asks, Ben, if you were traveling to the moon and you could only bring one personal belonging with you, what would it be? A towel. Hey, it's Katie95 asks, Ben, if you could go back to your 12th grade self and tell him about you in the future, what would you say? I'd probably tell him, and he probably wouldn't believe me, that he's gonna stop wearing hats and start making online YouTube videos. I'm certain he wouldn't believe me. Remy T asks, Ben, what would be a good starter fish for someone who wants to get an aquarium other than the standard beta or goldfish? Do a clownfish. They're surprisingly easy to keep. Hayden Monroe asks, Ben, how do you hard boil an egg? What I usually do is start with a teepee made out of small sticks and use some bark as kindling, and then slowly and safely add larger branches and logs. Literate Lex asks, Ben, how many books did you read in 2012, and how does the answer to that question make you feel about yourself? About 7, and considering I wouldn't really qualify myself as a reader, I would consider that to be pretty good. Well, wow, it's hard to say. Quirful Quagmire and Agent Ziada asks, what happened the rest of the week? Okay, the rest of the week I had already presented and spent 2 entire days presenting my science fair project in 11th grade advanced chemistry. On the 3rd day of class, the teacher walked in asking if there were any volunteers to present. Me. I presented again on the 3rd day. I didn't take up the entire class this time, but probably only 3 people went. Then on the 4th day of presentations, yeah, no, you're right, 4 wouldn't have been hilarious, but the girl next to me didn't do her project, so I changed the background color on all my PowerPoint slides, and she presented it. Jay, there you go. Happy 150th video. I will see you on Monday.